3 days of masterclass in self-destruction for the Democratic Party, failing to connect with the working man while flooding social media with TikToks that make you want to bleach your eyeballs. And it looks like it's about to get worse. According to a new report, Democratic leadership has been hiring influencers to consult them on how to keep it real and be meaner. But John Fetterman and others are trying to inject some common sense before this train derails completely.
I would ask Democrats, start talking like a regular person. Most people are not sure what an oligarch is, you know?
Just be a real person. How about that as a solution? Instead of us being like, oh, well, I need to be more authentic, so I'm going to put a baseball cap on. I'm going to drop some I'm going to sprinkle some F-bombs.
There's too much pretentious finger wagging. You need to get the working class back immediately. And you're not going to get that back when you just got a bunch of these super rich Nepo babies telling poor people how they should think and who they should vote for.
Speaking of 2028, Democrats are making early moves at Iran. Tiananmen Tim Walz looks hungry for a redo by taking responsibility for Kamala's failure.
I own this. We wouldn't be in this mess if we'd have won the election. And we didn't. We have to make sure that Americans know it's not just that Donald Trump is bad, but we're offering them something better. And I think that's what we need to work on. I'm going to go out there and make sure that those folks down in Iowa know that their rep doesn't want to come talk to him, but he voted for this stuff. He voted to defund these things.
All right, so what's going on, Jessica?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with
Do
this?
tell. I think it's good that Tim Walz is out there.
Really? He's really out there.
It's better than not confronting it, and he's taking responsibility, which people were asking for. They wanted Biden to take responsibility, Tim Walz.
Where's Kamala?
In Los Angeles. She's been out a couple times, but is obviously not as visible. To the John Fetterman point, Bernie Sanders, who is an amazing, authentic communicator for the party, uses the term oligarchy all the time. He does it in the Brooklyn accent, but he's still talking about the oligarchs, and that works for people. And I would argue, even though there have been some painful moments, like the protests outside of the Department of Education, et cetera, that the Democratic messaging actually has been going pretty well. So talking about they're trying to cut your health care while giving tax breaks to the rich. If you look at the latest Quinnipiac poll, there's over 50% disapproval of Trump himself, how he's handling the economy, how he's handling the federal workforce, how he's handling Ukraine and Russia, how he's handling trade with Mexico, how he's handling trade with Canada. So basically, he's underwater on everything. And a lot of that is due to the fact that Democrats are out there at town halls, like Jason Crow, for instance, held a town hall. He's a representative in Colorado. 1,300 people showed up to that. And there was tons of social feed that came out of that. And we know about the Republicans having town halls and then having to run away or asking questions like, what do you think of Doge? And expecting people to say something positive, and then they're screaming.
Where'd they come from?
What?
Where did they come from?
This is, okay, so first of all, we know that the right wants to just tell you that everyone is fake. First of all, even if they're a Democrat, they still can vote, right? And that matters. And second of all, you can't have this many plants. If you don't think that cutting tens of thousands of workers, if you have a plan to take away hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid isn't going to animate people, 2026 is going to be pretty bleak.
Okay, so he's talking about a lot of polls, a lot of Quinnipiac polls.
Yeah. It's a little early for the polls, but I mean, the other poll that came out today, who was it? Was it Quinnipiac that said congressional Democrats at its lowest ever at 21% approval, I think, and Republicans were at 40% approval. And when I worked there in the mid-90s, that would have been actually a pretty good number for us. So I think it's a little early for that. I do think that the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they were miles away from the people they say that they want to reach, the working class. They focused on electric vehicle tax credits. So for cars that already start $15,000 to $20,000 more than your average car, and then you could get a subsidy for that. They were also giving out all of those subsidies on green energy, climate stuff to people like Stacey Abrams. So they were enriching their friends. And now, as we were just showing with the protest earlier today, it's super organized, and you trace that right back to the billionaires. So it's like, well, what oligarchs, like Bernie Sanders, they pick and choose the oligarchs that they like. And it's not a good look.
Not a good look, Jessica. You know what else is not a good look, Greg? I see Fetterman, and we like Fetterman, okay? He's great, or kind of great. He shows a lot of leg.
Yeah, it's weird, especially when you're sitting.
Yeah, a lot of leg.
He's just a lot of man.
Well, then put a lot of pants on.
Yeah, he looks like he should be roofing, which is not a bad thing. I go back to my first point in the A block. There's something to the persuasion of positive energy. When someone is excited about something that's coming in the future, they're trying to tell you that the reward is going to make the effort worth it. It's like when your wife tries to get you to do yoga and she's constantly telling you about the benefits of it. It's to get you on board so you believe the effort is worth it. Trump does this with every single thing he does. He plays it up. He has all this energy to convince you that this is going to be the greatest thing we've ever done. You aren't going to believe it. Compare that to like Biden or even the Democrats out. Just complete lethargy. When Biden used to talk about the future, you got so depressed. Even when he was trying to lift your spirits, it was like, what is this corpse saying? Get me out of here. You know who's giving the best advice to the Dems besides us? Trump. He's showing them what matters. You know, the Dems got steered into a morass of punitive identity politics. Everything became race, gender, trans. Trump comes on, redirects their priorities, whether you like it or not. You know, if you want to stay on trans, go for it. But he says, okay, economy, border, war, crime, taxpayer abuse. Smart Democrats understand that, right? They go like, okay, that's cold water in the face. Like even like, so he has a strategy of redirecting attention, and sometimes it can be really confusing. Like, you know, tariffs aren't his priority. He makes it a priority for the other country. And the bigger message is, how can we create allies for a better economic relationship? That's the bigger story, but you think, oh my God, it's about tariffs. No, that's their problem. So he's constantly doing this, and you're moving forward. You have an aim. And the aim, as Jordan Peterson says, creates the frame.
But the tariffs are our problem because it will be a tax on us.
No, it's not. You don't
That's why
That's not what a tariff is.
We're not going to talk about
Yes,
that.
we
It's not a tax.
Really,
We did that
every economist
yesterday.
has it
We
wrong.
did it yesterday.
Every economist always
Yeah,
has
I'm sure
it.
Harold told you they were
there
also
you
a tax
have
on the
it.
consumer.
Every
They're
economist.
not a tax on the consumer.
If
Yeah,
you buy the,
they're not.
you just
They're
don't buy
not.
any product.
You know
Okay.
what?
There you
There is
go.
You know what?
You walked
Don't
right
know.
into it.
Nothing
If
wrong
you buy
with
the
a
product,
receipt.
Just say buy American.
by your
Jessica.
definition, the wages that you pay the worker who makes the product is also a tax.
This is a joke. The idea that you're just
We're not laughing, Jessica.
You missed yesterday.
We do when it
Yeah,
gets to
no, I
Judge
did.
Janine. We do when it gets
Here's
to
the
Judge
bottom
Janine.
line. It's about American protectionism. It's about protecting American workers, American factories, making sure that Americans can buy things that, like masks that don't come from China, medicine that doesn't come from China, supply chain that we create over here, which is about Nippon investing in steel and then putting our tariffs. It's about reciprocal tariffs, not retaliatory. But let me go to this particular topic. Look, I got to tell you, John Fetterman, someone told me that he still is using an iPad.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I am so impressed with this guy. You know, he makes more sense than just about all the Democrats who are at full capacity. I mean, you know, he's right when he says, you know, oligarch doesn't mean anything to anybody other than you're talking to each other about things. And the Democrats don't know how to talk about regular people. And I have a recommendation to them. What they need to do is they need to be worried about Americans and not about other people. The first segment we did was about, oh, Mahmoud, where are his constitutional rights? This guy who believes in tearing down America, who hates Jews and everything else that we talked about. That's where the Democrats are going to go. OK, how do you get the American public to believe that you give a damn about the American working public when you're over there for the men and women's sports and people with pronouns and Mahmoud, who wants to tear down Western civilization, who believes in Hamas and is organizing with Hamas? You lost us and you earned it. And I don't buy for 1 second that Tim Walz, I own it. Is that what he said? I own this. No, Tim, you didn't take responsibility for it. You know, it's not just that Trump's bad. We're offering something better. No, you're not. You're not offering anything better. And until you get a policy and not just a message where you have to hire comedians to show you how to be funny, or you have to figure out that, gee, maybe you ought to get a podcast because a lot of men like to listen to sports podcasts or comedies, and women listen to podcasts too. You're nothing more than performative politicians who will never connect with Americans.
Jesse, isn't it interesting that it takes brain damage to make a Democrat normal?
Who would you say is more normal, Jessica or Fetterman? Let's not even answer that question. Let's
let's
go
only
on.
talk about it in the break.
Let's talk about it. We'll just kind of do a roundtable.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.